We presented our project on the California Gold Rush. The California Gold Rush started on January 24, 1849, when James W. Marshall found the first piece of gold on the American River. This find made California a booming place to go to find riches. The Oregon-California Trail flooded with people due to this event. The migrants that traveled to California were called 49ers. People were coming from all over, including China. Chinese immigrants came over from China due to a few problems like war, famine, and poor economy. Also, the Chinese hoped that they would become rich by finding gold. In the early 1850s, about 24,000 Chinese civilians traveled to the United States. The civilians that traveled to the United States, or the civilians traveled to California using the Oregon-California Trail. This trail started in St. Louis and ended up in California and was just about 3,000 miles long. This trail just overloaded with people when the first word about gold went around. But the trail was very dangerous to migrate through because Native Americans could attack and disease and sickness were very common. After all the migration and immigration was done, there was about 86,000 people that filled into California. The population after and during the gold rush was 86 times more than it was before the gold rush. Problems that the miners faced could be very deadly. Miners could get crushed at any moment due to crumbling rock. Also, miners had to light the TNT and had a great danger of dying. Another one is that people went crazy down there digging for gold, and miners would have to fight other miners for gold. During the gold rush, miners had to give up a lot. A few things that they had to give up was their family. They also had to give up their house and money. Life in the mining camp was also very difficult. When miners started, they started out in little 3-person tents that was usually filled with 4 to 5. They started out pan mining in the river, and as they spent their time there, they would move up to wooden cabins and work in the mines. Miners would also pay unreal prices for common goods. All the traveling for the gold rush was also like the Manifest Destiny. United States civilians migrated westward, not caring who was there or what was there. They were looking for new natural resources like gold. This is related to the Manifest Destiny because the colonists already conquered the East and they wanted to conquer the West. Most people who traveled to California did not get rich. Many 49ers that traveled didn't find gold at all. Every migrator had a low chance of finding gold. People spent their whole life trying to find gold but usually never ended up with any. A typical miner was usually poor but spending their life savings to get rich. Poor miners would have to walk the whole trail from East Coast to West Coast. Rich people would take a boat anyways, it was longer. Legacies were made during the California Gold Rush. One legacy was their environmental legacy, and that was over a century ago. Mercury washed downstream from gold mining camps. Another legacy is the California Gold Rush brought a huge amount of Chinese men and women to the U.S.